The bodyweight hamstring curl exercise is one of the best ways to work the muscles in your back of your legs. This is because it isometrically uses your hips, which your hamstrings are responsible for, while flexing your knee, which is also what your hamstrings are responsible for, and you even get calf activation by pressing your feet into the handle. You can practice this exercise a number of ways, sliding discs on the floor, maybe just wearing socks on hardwood floors, but of course my favorite is with some sort of trainer like my grind straps. There's also a lot of ways you can progress this exercise, depending on one of the 9 elements in my table of progressive elements from my book, Smart Bodyweight Training. Let's explore a few ways. The first level to practice is a simple isometric exercise like this, without any movement. Palms are facing flat up, your back is tight and like you're squeezing the floor together, and you lift up your hips while contracting your glutes. This allows you to improve your tension control, making sure all the muscles on your posterior chain are working to support your whole body throughout the entire exercise. From there, you can employ the speed element. This is done when you bring your heels closer to your hips with movement rather than the isometric, but your hips stay relatively low to the floor. This ensures that you're getting some of the tension activation in your hamstrings while you're still supporting your hips with your glutes. The third step is to pull while lifting up your hips. This uses the angle to gravity element. So we're working more against gravity because this is the weight that we're actually lifting. So it adds resistance to the exact same motion you were practicing earlier. The next element is the weight shifting element. What we're going to do is we're going to take our hands and instead of providing downward pressure and base support, we're going to take the hands, clasp them in front on top of the hips. This removes support while adding a little bit of extra weight to the hips that you are lifting with the hamstring curl motion. From there, we can further use the weight shifting element to put more weight onto a single leg while the other leg acts as a bit of an assist. So the first step in doing that is to cross your ankles. That allows this leg to be the assist to the bottom leg, which is still doing most of the work. You can further amplify this by bringing your leg closer up towards the knee, which means you have less assistance from the assistant leg, but it's still helping you remain strong and stable. And then lastly, we can also go with just the full-on single leg curl where one leg is straight out. Avoid the temptation to kick up with the leg. You want to kind of keep it very straight out in line with your hip. So this is not only no longer assisting you, but it's also additional weight that you're now lifting out extended. So you're here, pulling in as much as you can, and out. And as you can see, I don't get a whole lot of range of motion because it's a very hard exercise. As with all of these movements, range of tension is an element that you can further work to progress. So you saw there where I wasn't getting a lot of range, and in time you can work to get your heel closer to your hip. You can also change things like speed, tempo, and timing. So instead of going super fast, you can go a little slower, pause and squeeze those hamstrings before extending back down. And lastly, you can also load extra weight onto any of these variations by simply taking any sort of object, like a dumbbell, and place it on your hips. Because remember, this is where your physical load is being carried. So your shoulders down and back, holding it with your hands, and now you have weighted hamstring curls with whatever kind of weight that you're using. So as you can see, there are a ton of progressive and regressive variations with the simple bodyweight hamstring curl. If you want to learn more about my table of progressive elements, check out my book, Smart Bodyweight Training. The link is down below. It's on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions. And if you want more videos on this topic, these will point you in the right direction. Talk to you guys next time. Till then, be fit, live free.